Most men think attraction is about money, looks, or fancy lines. That's a lie. The real spark is not in her eyes or her body, it's in her mind. And today, I'll show you 5 hidden psychological secrets that make a woman feel desire stronger than sex itself. Stay until the end, because I'll also give you the exact phrase you can say today to ignite that spark inside her. Strategic eye contact. Attraction doesn't begin with words. It doesn't even begin with touch. It begins with something far simpler, yet far more powerful. The eyes. Most men underestimate this. They think attraction is about compliments, about showing off, or about keeping a conversation flowing. But the truth is, long before a single word leaves your mouth, she has already felt something. And that feeling, whether it's connection, mystery, or indifference, comes from the way you look at her. Here's the secret. Not all eye contact is equal. The human brain is divided into 2 hemispheres, and each side controls different aspects of how we feel and think. The left side of the brain is logical, analytical, calculating. The right side is emotional, intuitive, instinctive. Now here's where it gets interesting. When you look into her left eye, you're connecting with her right brain, the emotional side. This is where intimacy lives. This is where she feels seen, understood, and safe. It's subtle, but it makes her guard drop. She feels like you just get her without her having to explain anything. But when you shift and lock into her right eye, something entirely different happens. Now you're activating her left brain, the side that analyzes, calculates, tests. This is where challenge and tension are born. Suddenly, you're no longer just the man who understands her. You're the man she has to figure out, the man she can't easily predict, the man who feels just beyond reach. That duality, safety and tension, intimacy and mystery, that's what creates deep attraction. Think about it. If you only ever gaze into her left eye, she may feel closeness, but without edge. You become warm, safe, but not unforgettable. If you only stare into her right eye, you may feel powerful, but you risk becoming cold, intimidating, or disconnected. The true secret lies in controlled alternation. Start with the left eye. Pull her in emotionally, let her feel intimacy. Then, when the moment is right, shift to the right eye. Spark challenge, awaken intrigue, and make her feel the tension. This silent switch keeps her on edge in the best way possible. She never fully knows what you're going to give her next, comfort or command. This is why some men leave a lasting mark while others are forgotten. It's not because of looks, money, or lines, it's because of presence. Machiavelli once wrote that real power works in silence, unseen, operating beneath the surface while everyone else is distracted by appearances. That's exactly what strategic eye contact is. It's silent power, it's invisible influence. While other men stumble with words, trying too hard to impress, you bend her emotions with nothing but your gaze. Picture it. You're in a conversation, and instead of flooding her with nervous chatter, you let moments of silence breathe. In that silence, your eyes do the speaking. You begin with her left eye, warmth, intimacy, connection. Then you shift, slowly, to her right eye. Tension, challenge, dominance. She feels both the comfort of being understood and the thrill of being tested. That mix is addictive. That's what keeps her replaying the moment in her head long after you've walked away. Most men never master this. They either avoid eye contact altogether, looking down or away, which radiates insecurity, or they overcompensate, locking in too aggressively, which comes off as threatening or strange. But the man who knows how to wield eye contact with precision, the man who alternates with timing, restraint, and confidence, that man creates an experience she can't quite explain but can never forget. Attraction, at its core, is not about what you show on the outside. It's about what you awaken on the inside. Words fade, compliments blur together, but a gaze that makes her feel safe and challenged, desired and unsettled, known and yet still guessing, that's unforgettable. So remember, the eyes are not just windows to the soul, they're levers of power. Use them strategically. Use them silently. Use them as Machiavelli would. without noise, without show, but with an influence that lingers long after you're gone. Emotional leadership. Most men think attraction is built on what they say. They rehearse clever lines, search for perfect words, and hope that the right sentence will make the right impression. But women don't just listen to your words, they tune into something deeper, your energy. This isn't vague or mystical. Science has a name for it: mirror neurons. These are specialized brain cells that reflect the emotions of people we interact with. It's why you can feel tense just by sitting next to someone anxious, or why laughter spreads in a group even when you don't know what the joke is. Human beings are wired to absorb and mirror the emotional states of others. Now, here's the secret most men never understand. In attraction, whoever controls the emotional state controls the entire interaction. If you walk in nervous, insecure, or needy, she will feel it instantly. Not because of what you said, but because her brain is mirroring yours. She feels your tension in her body. She feels your neediness in her chest. And she pulls away without even knowing why. But when you walk in calm, centered, confident, when you radiate the energy of someone who enjoys himself, who doesn't need to force anything, her brain mirrors that too. She feels lighter, safer, more alive in your presence. Suddenly, you're not just a man she's talking to. You're the emotional leader of the interaction. You set the tone, and she follows. Think of it like this. In every interaction, someone is leading and someone is following emotionally. Most men unknowingly follow. They wait for her reactions, her approval, her signals. They let her emotions dictate theirs. If she seems cold, they shrink. If she seems warm, they relax. But the man who flips this dynamic, the man who leads emotionally, becomes magnetic. He decides the temperature of the room and she feels drawn into his orbit. So, how do you do this? It's not about faking a smile or pretending to be confident. Women detect fakes faster than anyone. It's about truly shifting your internal state before you meet her. Take 5 minutes to center yourself. Breathe. Recall a memory that excites you, that makes you feel alive. Step into her presence already lit from within. Don't wait for her to make you feel good. Walk in already feeling good and watch how her energy bends toward yours. Machiavelli once wrote that real power is the ability to influence without showing force. Emotional leadership is exactly that. You don't demand her attention, you draw it effortlessly. You don't chase her energy, you set it, and she follows. Your presence alone becomes the conversation. And here's the part most men miss. Women rarely remember everything you said. They remember how you made them feel. A joke might fade, a compliment might blur, but the emotional state you left her in, that stays. That's what lingers when she lies awake later, replaying the interaction in her head. Not your words, not your moves, your energy. That's why emotional leadership is irresistible. It's invisible power. It's silent dominance. And once you master it, you'll see that attraction has less to do with what you say, and everything to do with what you carry. The power of scarcity. There's a brutal paradox in human nature. The more available you are, the less you are valued. This isn't just true in relationships, it's true everywhere. Diamonds are valuable because they're scarce. Gold holds power because it's rare. If the streets were paved with it, nobody would care. Humans are wired to chase what is scarce, not what is abundant. Now think about how most men behave around women. They respond instantly to every message. They cancel plans just to be available. They bend, stretch, and rearrange their entire lives for the chance to please her. At first, it looks like dedication, but in reality, it communicates something far darker: scarcity of self. It says, "My time is worth nothing. My mission can wait. You are my only priority." And when a man signals that his value depends on her, she instinctively loses interest. Women don't say this out loud, but the thought runs deep. If no one else wants him, why should I? Attraction is not built on abundance. It's built on selective access. The man who gives his attention too freely is easily forgotten. The man who makes his attention rare becomes unforgettable. Now let's clear something up. Scarcity doesn't mean playing childish games. It doesn't mean ignoring her texts on purpose or pretending to be busy when you're not. That's not power, that's insecurity in disguise. Real scarcity means this: having your own mission, your own life, your own priorities that come first. It means your schedule, your goals, and your values shape your time, not her demands. When she sees that, she doesn't feel neglected. She feels respect. Because deep down, women don't want to be your whole life. They want to be drawn into a man who already has a life. Think of history's powerful men, leaders, conquerors, creators. They weren't available at every hour. Their time was precious, their attention limited, and that limitation made them magnetic. Machiavelli himself warned that power is lost when it becomes too common, too accessible, too exposed. True influence lives in mystery, in the tension of scarcity. So here's the rule: the more you respect your own time, the more she will respect you. If you chase, if you beg, if you make yourself endlessly available, you become disposable. But if you stand firm in your priorities, if you protect your schedule, if you live a life bigger than her approval, you shift the entire dynamic. Suddenly your attention becomes a reward, your presence becomes a privilege, and scarcity turns that privilege into desire. Ask yourself, do you want to be the man she takes for granted, or the man she feels lucky to have access to? That decision isn't made in her mind, it's made in how you live. Respect yourself, and she will respect you even more. Value your time, and she will value it too. Become scarce, and watch how quickly you become unforgettable. Because in love, as in power, it's never the man who is most available who wins. It's the man whose presence cannot be bought, cannot be begged for, and cannot be replaced. Selective validation. Most men give away validation like candy, sweet, cheap, and forgettable. You're so beautiful. You're amazing. I love everything about you. At first, it feels flattering, but soon it destroys value. Why? Because what is abundant loses power. Think about it. Beauty is not a choice. She didn't earn her eyes, her lips, her figure. Complimenting those things doesn't elevate you, it lowers you. It shows that you are hypnotized by what every other man sees. And if every man notices it, your words carry no weight. Real attraction doesn't come from constant praise. It comes from selective praise, from validation that is rare, earned, and precise. Instead of worshipping what she was born with, you value what she chooses. Her decisions, her thinking, her worldview. When you say, "I like how you thought about that," it hits 10 times harder than, "You're beautiful." Why? Because you're rewarding something deeper, something she had to create, not something she passively possesses. And here's where the power sharpens. Sometimes you don't validate at all. You let silence breathe, you let her wonder. You let her lean in, seeking your approval, but not receiving it automatically. That tension between wanting your validation and not always getting it is the seed of respect. She begins to value your words because they are not guaranteed. This isn't cruelty, it's psychology. Human beings value rewards that are unpredictable more than those that are certain. A compliment that always comes loses meaning. A compliment that sometimes comes, sometimes withholds, becomes addictive. The brain starts chasing it. It's the same mechanism behind games, gambling, and power. The unpredictable reward hooks deeper than the predictable one. Machiavelli understood this centuries ago. He warned that respect and loyalty cannot be built on constant, predictable generosity. They are built when rewards are measured, when they must be earned, when they carry weight. The ruler who gives too freely loses power. The man who validates too freely loses respect. So here's the law. Validation must be scarce, precise, and earned. When she makes a choice that reflects depth, acknowledge it. When she shares a perspective that surprises you, reward it. But when she simply seeks attention for the obvious, hold back. Not with malice, just with quiet strength. The result? She begins to calibrate herself around your standard. She starts seeking not just attention in general, but your specific approval. And once she seeks that, you hold the frame. You are no longer one of many voices praising her. You are the voice she wants to hear. Remember this: the man who validates everything is forgotten. the man who validates selectively, is unforgettable. Because in a world where most men hand out approval like spare change, the rare man who makes his approval scarce becomes the most valuable of all. Machiavelli would tell you, predictable rewards weaken respect. Selective rewards build power. And when it comes to attraction, the same law applies: controlled vulnerability. Most men swing between two extremes. They think they have to be stone cold, showing no emotion, no weakness, no depth. Or they think they must spill everything, every insecurity, every wound, every detail of their past, to prove they're real. But both extremes are weakness. Stone cold feels empty. It creates distance, not connection. Overexposure feels needy. It hands her your soul before she has earned the right to see it. The real secret lies in the balance: strength mixed with depth. Controlled vulnerability. This is where power meets humanity. You show her your ambition, your mission, your drive to face life head-on. She feels your strength, the part of you that can protect, that can lead, that can stand unshaken when storms come. But then, at the right moment, you reveal just one layer of truth. A lesson from a past failure, a moment of pain that shaped you. Not the wound itself, but the wisdom it forged. This balance does something rare. It makes her feel two things at once. You are strong enough to protect. You are human enough to connect. That combination is magnetic. Most men only offer one side: protection without depth, or depth without protection. When you embody both, you become unforgettable. Controlled vulnerability doesn't mean dumping your secrets or begging for comfort. It means revealing just enough to show her that your strength is earned. That behind the confidence, there were battles. Behind the composure, there were scars. She doesn't admire your perfection, she admires your resilience. Machiavelli wrote that power is not in never falling, but in rising stronger after the fall. The same law applies here. Show her you've been tested and that you emerged sharper. That's what builds trust. That's what builds intrigue. The phrase that sparks desire. Now let's make it practical. Words, when spoken with presence, can rewire an entire interaction. Here is one line that flips the dynamic. There's something about you that intrigues me, but I haven't figured out what it is yet. Say it calmly, slowly. Hold her gaze, not into both eyes, but into her right eye. Why? Because the right eye connects to her logical brain, the part that analyzes, questions, and searches for answers. You're planting a seed of curiosity in the very place that cannot rest until it's solved. In that moment, the frame shifts. She's no longer evaluating you, you're evaluating her. She begins chasing your approval, wondering what you see in her, what she must do to earn your clarity. And because you've spoken it with presence, not neediness, your words land like a challenge wrapped in intrigue. Most men flood women with validation, desperate to be chosen. This line does the opposite. It suggests that you see something, but not everything. You've noticed her, but you haven't surrendered your judgment. You're interested, but not convinced. That subtle uncertainty draws her in, because attraction doesn't grow from certainty, it grows from tension. And nothing creates tension like controlled vulnerability and selective mystery combined. So remember, show strength, reveal just one earned scar, and speak with presence. Let her feel your humanity without losing your dominance. And when you deliver the phrase, watch her lean in, chasing the answer that only you hold. That, my brother, is magnetic. Final word and call to action. We've traveled through 5 secrets, 5 hidden laws that most men will never know. Strategic eye contact, the silent weapon that bends her emotions without a single word. Emotional leadership, the ability to guide her feelings, not follow them. Scarcity, the paradox that the less available you are, the more valuable you become. Selective validation, the art of rewarding what is earned, not what is obvious. Controlled vulnerability, the balance of strength and humanity that makes you unforgettable. These are not cheap tricks. They are not pickup lines or surface-level tactics. They are the real language of the female mind, The psychological patterns that shape attraction beneath words, beneath appearances, beneath reason itself. And here's the truth. When you start living by these laws, something shifts. Women don't just like you, they feel pulled toward you. They can't explain it, they can't fight it, and they can't ignore it. Because attraction isn't built on what you do once. It's built on what you are consistently. These 5 laws don't just change how she sees you, they change how you see yourself. Think of the men around you. Most will spend their lives chasing approval, drowning women in compliments, giving up their time, hiding behind fake confidence, or oversharing their weaknesses. They will keep failing because they never touch the deeper layers of psychology. But you now know what they don't. You've seen the blueprint. You've felt the shift, and you can't unsee it. So here's what I want you to do. If this opened your eyes, if it made you rethink attraction in a way that no one else is talking about, don't keep it to yourself. Hit the like button. Share this with a friend who needs to wake up to these truths. And subscribe, because every week, I reveal more hidden psychology that most men will never discover. Now it's your turn. Drop a comment below and tell me, which of these 5 secrets hit you the hardest today? Was it the power of scarcity, the tension of selective validation, the silence of eye contact? I want to know what resonated, because when you share it, you don't just lock it deeper into your mind, you help every other man reading see what he's been blind to. Remember this, attraction isn't about games. It isn't about faking confidence. It isn't about trying to be someone you're not. It's about power, silent, unseen, psychological power. And once you master it, you stop chasing women. Because women start Chaz.